welcome to the Inner Skein Knitting Podcast. My name is Maria and I'm coming to you from my apartment, finally. If you've been following me for a while, you'll know that I was away for a few months because we were getting some renovations done in our apartment. And we are finally back, although not officially, but we're moving back in this weekend and I am very happy. So yeah, I haven't filmed a regular podcast episode in a while just because we were away and it was a bit more complicated to do so. So yeah, I don't even know which number of episode this is, but that's not important. And I apologize if I sound a little bit congested. I'm getting over a cold. And yeah, I'll start by saying that it's my 1 year design anniversary. So 1 year ago, in a few days, I'm cheating a little bit, but 1 year ago-ish, I released my first knitting pattern, which was the Linaria Socks. And since then, I've published a few more, so I decided that for the occasion, I would give a discount on all my patterns that I'll go through briefly here. And yeah, so on Ravelry and Payhip, you don't need any discount. They are automatically discounted 20% off for one pattern, or if you buy two or more, they're 25% off. Except on Payhip, if you want to buy more than one, you can contact me and I'll give you a discount code for the 25% because I wasn't able to work out how to do that over there. But so these are the Fiorellini. So it's a pretty simple sock with a colorwork cuff with 3 different little flowers, like this. And then, if I try to go in order of when they were published, we have the Nocciole socks, which they look a bit strange because I just washed them but didn't like put them on a sock blocker. But they have a little motif here at the front. And these are toe up, the rest are all, most of them are cuffed down, except the next one, which is the Ganache, which is made with crocheted granny squares at the front here, and then you work back and forth like this, bottom up, to knit the rest of the sock with a flagel heel. And then, if I remember correctly, it was the Pointel socks. So this had a little bit of lace on the leg and on the foot, like this, and a fun little scalloped cuff. Then, no, I think the next one that I published is these ones, which were my Christmas socks, and these are, it's a pattern expansion. So I basically wrote a vanilla sock pattern and then you can buy for cheaper than a regular sock pattern the rest of the pattern to show you how to do this colored motif, and you can do it either at the toes like this or at the cuff. So this, I don't think I've shown it to you before. It's one of my finished objects, or half finished object because I only have one of the 2 socks. But yeah, I really like this one. I used a Suri alpaca, 2 strands of a Suri alpaca for the pink, and a fingering weight plus a mohair for the green, and the rest is brown like this. I really like these. And I'll link the project page for this if you want to know which yarns that I used. And then the last one that I have is the Prato socks. So this one features some little flowers made with twisted stitches and baubles and eyelets only at the cuff, and then the rest of the sock is quite simple like this. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Sorry, that was kind of a long-winded way to say that all my patterns are currently on sale until Saturday, March 15th. And yeah, I'll put all the links below. Next, I guess I can talk about what I'm wearing. I think I talked about this a little bit in my previous vlogs, but this is a self-drafted blouse pattern that I made. And this one is made using one strand of mohair on 4mm needles. So it's quite sheer. I really like it for the spring. It's, I think, a good transition piece. And yeah, I'm not going to talk about it too much. I think I've talked about it enough in my previous vlogs. And also, I am not sure yet if it's going to be a design that I'm going to write up. We shall see. It was in the plans. But then I started working on a second sample that I have here. Not with just mohair. This is just one strand of, I think it's like a sport DK weight-ish yarn. And my plan was to do, because on this one I have like a little scalloped neckline and I-cords at the wrists, the cuffs, and the bottom of the body. So here I wanted to do the opposite, so the I-cord here and then my little scalloped cuff and hem. But I really don't like how it's looking. I didn't even finish it. As you can see, it's still on the needles. I started to sew down the cuff, but I think that the scallops just look too big, and yeah, I don't know. I'm just not super satisfied with the overall look, so I don't know what this will become. I may frog the cuff and just do an I-cord. I don't know yet, but let's see. And I don't know if I've mentioned, but this is the Knitting for Olive Soft Silk Mohair in the color Powder. So this is what I bought in the summer to make my wedding dress that never happened. So I have tons of this yarn. I probably have enough to make another 3 blouses like this. So that's what I use for this one. And for this one I am using this yarn. And I'm kind of scared to pronounce it because I don't know how. Le Woolle. And the yarn name is Nocciole, which means hazelnut in Italian. And this one is a mix of 75% wool and 25% Angora, so it's a little bit fluffy. It's very, very soft. Very nice. So yeah, let's see what this will become. Now, the next thing that I have to show, I'm very excited about this one. It's a summer top, and if you listen to my episodes last summer, I think I started to design a summer top and I abandoned it like most of the designs that I've been working on in the past year, I think. And I think that one I stopped working on it because I didn't like the fit. I think that I designed it to have like just a few centimeters of positive ease. But it ended up just looking too small. It felt too small. It wasn't really what I had envisioned. So I learned from that. And also I didn't like the yarn. It was quite itchy. I think it was a mix of like cotton and wool. I'm not exactly sure, I don't remember, but I remember it was very itchy, and for a summer top that's not good because here in Italy, where I live in the north, it's very hot, very humid in the summer, and I don't handle the heat very well, so I don't think it would have been very nice. So this was the yarn that I was using before. It was quite dense gauge too, and so I decided to switch to the only summer yarn that I really enjoy, or the only one that so far I've tried and I really enjoy. I haven't tried a lot of different summer yarns, but this one is my favorite out of all the ones that I have tried before. So this is It's a bit scrunched up like this because it was in my bag, but it's the Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. Apologies. Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. Yeah, the lighting is a bit too bright. But yeah, this is just the cream colorway, and I think I'm going to show you the top in a second, I swear. But I think this is my only regret of this garment. I wish that I would have chosen a different color. I think at first I chose this one because I had something else in mind for this yarn, another project in mind that I could only see in white. But this one I can see in many different colors, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll get a ton of wear out of it for sure in the summer, but I wish I would have chosen different color, something more fun. Okay, so this is it. I don't know if you can really see. There will be 2 shoulder frills. There is only one at the moment because I want to film a tutorial for the second one. But yeah, so this is what it looks like so far. And I chose this yarn because it's very drapey, as you can see, like very drapey and very breathable for a summer garment. So yeah, and like the bones of the top, like the overall construction is very simple. It's basically just a tank top. And then after you're done with the main part, you come and you pick up stitches all around the shoulder like this, and do short rows and a fun edging for the bind off. So yeah, it looks quite simple, but there are a lot of little details. Like right now I am grading it, and I've graded like all the main numbers, and now I just need to, for example, grade because there are a few short rows on the shoulders to make it look, or to make it not look, but to be sloped like this so that it fits nicely on the shoulders. And as you can see, it also dips a little bit at the back, because I think that's one of my pet peeves in knitted garments in general, when the construction is just like straight at the back. I don't know, I don't like how it fits, I don't like how it looks. So yeah, I made my life a little bit complicated here by doing short rows and increases here. So you're starting off with basically like one little triangle here, one little triangle on the other side, and then casting on stitches here at the back later. And then, I mean, for the front is basically a bit more traditional, where you do a bit of shaping here at the shoulder, and then your increases here at the neckline, and then the same thing here, and join together at the front here. And yeah, the rest is it's not complicated, but I think that especially like the little shoulder area is what takes, I think, the most concentration probably if you're going to knit this. And then all the edges are finished with I-cords, applied I-cord, so you pick up stitches and do your I-cord. And yeah, when I first bound off for the body, I was very worried because it was rolling up a lot. I think that like it was rolling so much that it was going up to here. So I was very concerned. I think I have a picture, actually. I'll put it on the side if I can find it. And yeah, it was rolling up a lot, so I was very concerned, but it blocked out beautifully. Like, I'm so impressed with this yarn. It's very nice. I think the first time that I used it, and the only time that I've used it for a garment, the Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, I doubled it. So it's my first time working it as a single strand, and it is a bit time consuming because it is a light fingering weight yarn. And I worked this on 3mm needles, And I think I got the recommended gauge, yeah, 28 stitches on 3mm needles, so it is a bit time consuming, but I think it's worth it. I really like how it turned out. And yeah, so as I was saying, after you pick up some stitches to do this little frill, and I might have overdone it with the increases at the shoulder. It's very, very frilly. But I really like how it turned out. Yeah, so I'll come a bit closer to show you what it looks like. Basically here, you have some eyelets that you work when you work the top, and this serves as a decorative element, but also as a guide for your for where you're going to pick up the stitches for the little frill. And yeah, so you pick up stitches, and then in my mind I wanted to just do everything stockinette here on the frill, but the first time that I tried on my swatch to do a knit row as the first row, it was kind of like flopping the wrong way. Like this, it didn't want to stay like that. So I ended up doing a purl row as the first row, and I think it looks very cool actually with the knits front and back that you do on the second round to add this type of volume for the frill. Yeah, and then the rest is just worked with short rows, and then you do a little border like this. It kind of reminds me of, I don't know what it's called, but like when you're sewing something, you can buy trims, and I don't know, there's some type of trim that looks like this. My goal was to have this look kind of like crochet, and it's a variation of the edging that I had on my previous tank top that I was working on last year. This one, I think because it's a heavier weight yarn, it looks a bit more obvious. Here it's much more delicate, I would say. But I still really like how it looks. And I even tried, let me find the swatch, I even tried with actual crochet, and it ended up looking like this. And I don't know if you can see side by side. So this is the crochet, and this is made with, it's just knitting, but it looks like crochet. I think you can tell that it's quite similar. So yeah, I'm very happy with how all of this turned out, because I know that, I think probably most knitters know how to crochet, or maybe that's a bad assumption that I have, but I think that a lot of knitters probably don't want to like bother with adding crochet to their garments. So I thought it was a fun challenge for me to try to recreate crochet through knitting. That's something that I really enjoy doing, like taking different fiber arts and like weaving, crochet, even like cross stitching, and trying to like transfer some of the elements or like the essence of those other crafts to my knitting. And so yeah, I'm really happy that I could do that for this little trim here. And I think that's all I have to say for now about this one. I am working on this now because, one, I have realized in the last year that I probably didn't put out any garment designs because I'm too late. And so when I'm working on a project, by the time that I'm done knitting it, and then I would have to grade it, send it for tech editing, blah blah blah, test it, then it would be like too late in the season to release it. So this time I tried to get ahead of the curve, and so that's why I am working on this in March. And I am also going away for the whole month of April So my goal is to finish this before April, send it to tech editing, and then when I'm back, as soon as I'm back, I'm gonna do a test call so that the test can run hopefully from like mid-May to, I think I want to give at least 10 weeks for this, because it is a light fingering weight garment. And oh, the other thing is that I graded this for 14 different sizes. So I want to give everyone enough time to finish it. So it would probably be available as a pattern Ravelry just at towards the end of the summer, hopefully a bit before, but let's see. But yeah, I decided to grade it into 14 different sizes because so typically like a size inclusive pattern will go from at least 30 inches at the bust to 60 inches. And if you grade that, well, it depends like what kind of size interval you're skipping. Most people will skip every 4 inches or 10 centimeter. But for a summer garment, and that gives you about 10 sizes, 9 to 10 sizes, depending on the minimum and the maximum of your range. But for summer garments, like for this one, I think I will be recommending 0 to 7 centimeter of positive ease. And now I've been skipping from inches to centimeters. So however many inches this is, I'll write it down here because I can't do the math in my head. But yeah, so since I'm not skipping every 10 centimeter, it means that there would be like a gap of 3 centimeter, where if your bust measurement falls into that, then you would have to go with less ease than I recommend or more ease than I recommend. So I decided to offer more sizes, essentially, so that everyone can be included in the range. So yeah, lots of sizes. I will do the testnet call mid-May, so if you're interested, keep an eye out for that. I'll probably announce that on my Instagram and here on YouTube. I usually do like a community post for these types of things. So yeah, very excited about this one. I just need to complete the second shoulder frill. And it doesn't have a name yet, but I have something in mind. I'll have to see about that. Okay, next thing is the Linaria Socks. So these socks, originally they were supposed to be coming out at the end of February, but this testnet, it was very stressful. And not because like anything crazy major happened, but we did find out early in the testnet that for some testers it was fitting perfectly, and for others it wasn't the best fit. So basically the heel construction that I designed is not something that I've ever seen before. So I designed this myself, and when I did, I obviously used my own foot measurements, and then I graded accordingly for the smaller and the bigger sizes. But yeah, we noticed quickly that for some people, so the people who have like a lower instep here, there was too much fabric. So essentially I decided that I would give the option for a small instep and a tall instep, or regular instep and tall instep. But then when I sat down in front of my Excel sheet to do this calculation, I was like, what is a small versus like a regular versus a tall instep? I had no idea. So, and then I obviously Googled and I couldn't really find anything. Like a lot of videos, for example, that you'll see on YouTube that it's like how to choose your perfect size for your sock and like how to do all these different adjustments. they say if you have a tall instep, do this. If you have a regular instep, do this. But no one says how to determine if you have a regular or a tall instep. So one of my testers actually suggested that I do like a poll on Instagram to have people measure their feet, so that I could like get numbers, like data values, to then be able to grade for these two different types of insteps. So what I concluded from my research, that is obviously just done by me. I think I'm pretty good in like statistics and data analysis and this type of thing, but I mean, I think only 63 people gave me their foot measurements, which is amazing. Thank you so much for everyone who did that. It was kind of a strange request, but a lot of people were willing to help, and I was very happy about that. So yeah, from what I collected and analyzed from these 63 people, I was able to determine that, and then I'll put a picture on the side so that you can see visually what I'm talking about. But in this pattern, all this information will be listed. But if you're curious to know if you have a regular or a tall instep, then maybe this can help a little bit. Again, it's not 100% correct probably, because I didn't have a huge sample size, but I at least can give you an idea to where you might stand. So basically, if you measure your heel circumference, so the biggest part around your heel, so like here, if you measure that circumference, and then you measure also the circumference at like the ball of your foot here, so the largest part of your foot, and you subtract, so you do this value, heel circumference, minus the foot circumference. If that value is, and again, I'll say it in centimeters because I'm not sure about the inches, but I'll write down everything. If your value is less than 8.5, according to my research, it means that you have a regular instep. If that is 8.5 or higher, then it means that you have a tall instep. So do with that what you will, but this is what I found. So yeah, so I had to basically regrade it to accommodate for those two types of insteps. And because I was doing that, then I wanted to give obviously extra time for the testers to complete the test. So I gave an extra few weeks, and so now the pattern will be available at the end of the month. So not too long from now. And again, I'll try to announce that here on YouTube, either in a video or in a community post, and as well on Instagram. So stay tuned for that. I don't know if I have anything else to add about these. I think that's it. Because I already talked about these a lot in my previous videos, but just quickly, the yarn that I used is Woollentwine Ovis in the color Peony for the main color, and my contrast color is 2 strands held together of Holst Garn Lucia in the color Ganache, I believe. So now I have a few whips. I think only one that I can show you, just because the other one I'm not sure yet if I can show it to you. It's for a collaboration in another sock design. But yeah, I'll show you what I'm working on right now. So when we were away from the house, I was very motivated, or I kept thinking about decor, like how I'm going to decorate the living room, for example. And one of the things that we were missing was a bit of color, because everything is beige at the moment, and I like the color beige, but I think it's a bit too monochromatic. So we needed color and cushions, so pretty easy to add color with cushions. So I bought a few, but I also wanted to make a few. And I had some yarn in stash that was a color that I thought would look nice in the living room. So this one is the Briggs and Little, I think they call it the Country Roving. It's like an unspun yarn. It actually comes in cakes and it's like 5 strands together. So, and I've had this for a long time. I think we were still living in Montreal when I received this, and then I showed this to my husband, or who was now, or then he was my boyfriend, and he's very analytical. He likes to solve these types of problems, so I told him I have 5 strands. I need to separate them because I don't want to knit the 5 strands together. How can we do this? And I had just received the yarn, so I was thinking, like, this is not a rush, like we can do this whenever, basically. But then as soon as I said that, it was like, oh, okay, maybe we can do this. And then I jumped in and we were brainstorming about how can we divide these 5 strands of yarn. And we ended up with like a, I don't even know how to describe it. We had a box. We made a hole in the box to have like a broomstick go through. And then the broom was, I think, on 2 chairs or surfaces. And then we put the big plate of this yarn on a knitting needle, like a long knitting needle that was in a basket. And then the 5 strands were like coming out on the box to be like, how do you say? We were like spinning the box to make skeins. I think I have a video actually of that. It's probably very bad quality, but if I can find it, I'll put it here. And I remember it was like the day after we had some visit over, so the apartment was a mess and we were trying to do this and there was things everywhere. Anywho, very much besides the point, but I found this in my stash and I think the original plan was to make a sweater of this, but never happened. So I thought I would use it for a cushion cover. And this is what I have so far. It looks like this. It's horrible. And I'm also using a contrast color. I'll show you in a moment. But yeah, it's color work. And in my mind I was like, oh, it's gonna be like a quick project. But when you think about it, like if you want to cover a 50 centimeter cushion, then you have to do twice that, so 100. That's basically like the body of a sweater that I would knit for myself. So it's not so fast, but this is what it looks like so far. I haven't even completed one motif, but it's going to be a little flower. I don't know how to show it to you because it's rolling up right now, but yeah. As you can see here, I just need to like complete the 2 petals, and I think that I have like 3 flowers on each side, and then the plan eventually is to sew it down at the bottom and at the top probably, because I could do like a closure where you can take out the cushion insert, but let's see. And then while I was thinking about that, I was like, oh, I could also do like, because this is color work, and then I was thinking about, because when I was working on my Linaria socks, which are worked with Estonian inlay, which I forgot to mention, then I thought, okay, maybe I can make another cushion with Estonian inlay, and then another one with like texture stitches. And anyways, I went down like a whole rabbit hole. I designed, I think, 4 different cushions, cushion covers, cushion pillows, cushion, anyways. And then I completely lost steam. I think I did this a few weeks ago and I haven't touched it since, but now that I see it, I'm very motivated to start again. And now that we are back at the apartment, I think it would be nice to have it done soon. Yeah. So I don't know if this cushion collection will ever see the light of day. If you're interested in a pattern, I can think about it. Or I'll just put like the charts that I design like in my project page on Ravelry, and you can design your own. I don't know, let's see how this goes. But yeah, I'm excited about this one, to have it on my couch. And the contrasting color that I'm using is a leftover of Mota by Wooldreamers that my cat attacked. And yeah, this is a leftover of my Irene sweater, my Journey Through yarn that I tested for her last year, I think. So yeah, hopefully that can be done soon-ish. And then, oh yeah, the last thing that I have is just a swatch for now. But I'm gonna be an auntie very soon, in a few months. My sister-in-law is pregnant. And yeah, so I'm gonna have a little nephew soon. And of course, I wanted to knit this little baby something. And I have two ideas for sweaters. I'm not going to be designing these, I'm just going to buy patterns. Although, for one of them, I want to do like a dinosaur at the front, and I was looking at the Knitting for Olive, I think it's called the Dinosaur sweater. I really like the construction, like the shape of it. It looks very, very cool. I don't know, I really like it. So I was thinking of that one. Also because my sister-in-law was showing like little things that she bought, and there were a lot of like dinosaur things. It's like, okay, let me try to find a dinosaur knitting pattern. I found that one, but I think that what I have in mind, like that one is like a T-Rex, it looks very cool, but I think that what I would like to do is much more like cartoony, and maybe a different type of dinosaur, like a long neck and a long tail. So maybe I don't know, I'll see what to do then. But yeah, I also ordered some yarn for a striped sweater. I'm thinking of the Sibling sweater by Laura Penrose. And so yeah, I ordered a few different colors of this yarn online. So it's the I don't know if you can see anything, but it's the Lendina Holiday. So it's made in Italy, and it says that it's machine washable, which is the reason why I bought it, because just for ease of care, I guess. And it's a 70% wool and 30% acrylic. And typically I don't like to work with like a superwash wool and neither acrylic. I just don't find it very enjoyable. But this one, I mean, I swatched with it and it was not bad. I am pleasantly surprised. So yeah, I bought a few colors. This is what I don't know if I can hold them all together. Wait, I had fun with the colors. So this is what I picked, and this one here, this blue, was not as bright online. Let me flip the ball band here so that you can see the navy. So I'm thinking to drop the very bright blue like this, and then I overheard her say that she doesn't like baby blue. And I don't typically either, for like baby boys, baby blue, I don't know, it's whatever, I guess. But I thought that like together with these colors it would look nice, but then I swatched, and I don't know if it's because I heard her say that she doesn't like baby blue, and now it's in my head. But yeah, I swatched like this, and I don't think I like it. So I also tried to include the beige in here, but I didn't like it, so I ended up with these four, but then I don't know, I wasn't super excited. And I think this is a DK-ish weight. And I also had some Sandnes Garn, I think this is the Double Sunday in stash. I had one ball, so then I thought of including this with the other colors, and I think I settled on this color scheme. So it's going to be smaller stripes than what is called for in the pattern, and also way more colors. And then I think that I'll do the collar and the ribbing with the navy blue. I think that's gonna be nice. Oh yeah, I'm excited to cast this on and make little baby sweaters. So yeah, I think that was it for today, and I hope that you are enjoying spring. It's not officially spring yet, but here it is starting to feel like spring. We went for a few walks recently, and I think a few weeks ago we went on a hike, or short hike, and there were a lot of flowers blooming everywhere. It was very nice. And then more recently, this past weekend, the cherry blossoms have started to bloom. So yeah, I'll try to put some footage at the end if you want to see a bit of spring in northern Italy. I said that weird. Italy. I'm still struggling with the 3 languages, but yeah. So yeah, I hope that you are enjoying spring or the end of the winter, and that you are working on projects that bring you a lot of joy. Yeah, I will try to be back soon to show you my progress on my projects. Yeah, happy knitting. Bye bye.